Hi, Cyber Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain a fantasy adventure drama film from 2020, titled The One and Only Ivan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film starts with the silverback gorilla, Ivan, looking at a billboard of his show, and telling the audience about how he is the star attraction for a circus act at the Big Top Mall. That's pretty unique. He was raised since childhood by Mac, and he performs alongside other animals, like wisecracking baseball-playing chicken Henrietta, Frankie the neurotic ball-balancing seal, Murphy the fire truck-riding rabbit, Stella the wise elephant, and she's been performing since before Ivan was born, Snickers the pampered poodle, and Mac's chatty parrot Thelma. Ivan's best friend is a stray dog, whom Mac is always trying to get rid of. Ivan is the show's headliner, so he puts on the mean gorilla act to entertain people. He is visited by Julia, daughter of Mac's janitor George, and Ivan always enjoys Julia's company, but it's said that her mom is very sick. On which Mac give her some money to buy new crayons. Mac then comes in and tells Ivan that the circus is losing its audience, and they need to find a good way to bring people back fast. Later, Ivan asks Stella if she thinks he has lost his edge, but she thinks the angry gorilla act is just what the humans want to see. The next day, as Mac is trying to find ideas to save the show, Julia gives Ivan some of her old crayons after he appears to show interest in her drawings. After a while, Ivan and Stray Dog find Mac is feeding Snickers with delicious item. Later, Ivan takes the crayons and a piece of paper to scribble something that he says is a beetle. Even the dog can't figure it out. The next day, the show goes quite good, and Mac is happy. When Julia comes back around, she is able to figure out that it's a beetle, to Ivan's delight. She also gives name to Stray Dog as Bob. Later, Bob sneaks into Mac's office to eat out of Snickers' food bowl, although she doesn't mind him. She tries to tell Bob in secret that they are getting a new animal, but Bob runs out and tells everyone the news. Everyone seems interested. Mac then introduces everyone to a baby elephant named Ruby. While most of the animals, in particular Stella, take kindly to Ruby, but Ivan is not happy when he learns that Ruby will be the new headliner. Ruby proves to be a big hit among the audiences, and business starts to pick up again. Ruby brings people back to their show. Even the billboard is also changed, although Ivan is not happy about it. Later, Julia goes to Ruby to congratulate her, but notice that Stella can't put her leg down as it's hurt. After Mac checks on her, they doesn't see anything wrong. Mac think it may be infection, and Stella becomes unable to perform. Everyone seems sad about Stella. On which Stella tells them a story about how when she was as young as Ruby, one day, when they were out in search of water, Stella slipped and fell into a hole, and stuck in a mud pit. Then a girl around Julia's age hurt her, and had to be rescued with the help of whole village. Bob then asked as humans did that? Stella tell him not all humans are bad. Ruby asks her are all animals free in the wild, and will we ever be free? Stella answers there are safe places, not so far and where animals can roam free. The following morning, Stella can't put weight on her foot. And Mac decided to give her rest, and Stella is put aside for the show, leaving Ruby to go on by herself. In show, as Mac call for Ruby, she gets too nervous and misses her cue. Ivan and Stella give her encouragement to go out there and show off her act. She does so, and entertains another big crowd. Later, Ruby asks Ivan to tell her a story, and he tells her about how Mac and his ex-wife Helen adopted him. He was loved by both. They take him to movie theaters and playgrounds. Before circus, Mac opened a photo booth. Peoples came from far to see and catch up with a young gorilla. However, Ivan likes to enjoy his life in a unique way, but Helen could not handle all the damage that Ivan was doing. She left Mac and she never came back. Later, little Ivan was brought here, and turned it into the circus that it is today. Meanwhile, Stella's condition worsens. She becomes too weak. Knowing it is her time, Stella asks Ivan to take care of Ruby, and to promise to find a way to free Ruby, so that she doesn't have to live her life the way Stella did. Ivan promises and holds his friend's trunk, as she passes away. Now as everyone mourns Stella, Mac starts to push Ruby to improve her act, which makes him treat her harshly, as well as respond rudely to Julia and George. Ivan starts growling as Mac becomes more aggressive, but it stops when Ruby squirts water at him with her trunk, revealing that he wears a hair wig.
What? Wow.
At the same time, Ivan continues to draw, coming up with a key that he hopes Julia can see to try and get him a key to Ruby's cage to free her. He tells Bob about his plan, which wakes Ruby up. Ivan then tells her another story about a baby elephant who wants to be free from where she lives, and he tells her that the baby elephant will be free with help from her friend. The next morning, As Julia enters, she finds Ivan's drawings. She was nearly to guess about drawing, but Mac enters. She then shows Ivan's drawings to Mac. He then hatches an idea to show Ivan off as a gorilla who can draw. Mac spread the news all over media. After selling out of tickets, Mac tries to present Ivan as the artist gorilla, but he just blows a raspberry and walks away from the canvas, humiliating Mac. Later, Mac again spots Bob, and orders his security guard, Costello, to get Bob out. As Mac leaves, Costello starts to make trap for Bob, while Ivan uses Bob to help him enact his escape plan. They trick Costello to get in cage of Ivan, while he is sleeping. Costello enters, but find Ivan standing behind him. He get unconscious on himself. Ivan take his keys and free Ruby. The other animals go along for the adventure as they flee the mall, but Snickers doesn't come with them since there are no blowdryers in Wild. The others exit the mall, as Costello informs Mac that all animals have ran away and he is stuck inside Ivan's cage. He then rushes towards mall. Now animals just has to cross the road and they will be free. They all start to cross the road. But in the process Murphy's fire truck gets stuck, and he is nearly to hit by a car but Ivan helps him, and his truck is crashed. The animals go past the woods which they think will lead them to the wilderness, but they discover that the only thing beyond the trees is the rest of the town. Mac ends up finding the animals. He tells them they were together, just like a family, and manages to convince everyone. When they are returned to their enclosures, Ruby asks Ivan to tell her a story about the wilderness as he remembered it. Although a bit reluctant, he recounts how he used to live with his family, including his father and older sister that he called Tag, since they loved to play the game together. He was also known as Mud due to always playing in the mud, and use mud to draw anything. But one day, poachers invaded their home and they were separated from their group, and it's implied that Ivan's father was killed by them. He keeps a doll called Not Tag as a reminder of his sister. Ruby tries to reassure Ivan by saying that his father would have loved his drawings too. Julia can see that Ivan doesn't want to be there anymore after hearing about how the animals got out. She gives him some old finger paints, which makes Ivan remember using mud to draw on rocks as a child. He spends the whole night painting on the glass where he performs his act. The next day, Mac arrives just as reporters ask Mac about the possible escape. But Mac denies, and even offers to film their show. On other side Ivan is still drawing. The show start, and everyone perform good. At last Mac call out Ivan. The curtains open and to everyone's surprise and amazement, Ivan has painted a mural with trees and a lake to recreate his home. Everyone enjoys it, but Julia noticed the deep meaning which Ivan want to say. She convinces George to let her help Ivan, and she goes to speak to a reporter. Ivan's painting becomes a big story, as people start to protest for his and Ruby's freedom. Soon, Mac gives in to their demands and closes the mall and circus for good. After the other animals are taken away, Mac spends time with Ivan in his enclosure one last time, to reminisce about their time spent together. Ivan returns the affection, as it is clear that he will also miss Mac. Ivan then goes with a doctor, who is set to transport him. Ivan wakes up in a facility. He appears scared and tries to break out, until the doctor opens up a door that reveals he is back in the wild. He finds that he is reunited with other gorillas, and as he looks beyond his area, he sees Ruby is with a herd of elephants not far from him. Ivan looks up at the sky and tells Stella that he kept his promise, and that he and Ruby are now free. This is the true story of the gorilla named Ivan, who was rescued from poachers and brought to America where he was raised by a loving family. When he got too big, he became part of a mall attraction for 27 years, until he learned to paint, and the local community protested for Ivan to be moved to a better community. Ivan was taken to Zoo Atlanta with plenty of land to roam across. Later, Julia and George bring Bob, whom they have adopted, to visit Ivan in his habitat, along with Mac, who is happy to see his old friend. At last baby Ivan is shown chasing a beetle, only to get tackled by Tag. Well, that's it for the day. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.